Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with our event recap of Devil's Reign. I want to say we're at month 4. Either way, we're at the next to last, basically covering the March Devil's Reign tie-ins. A neat thing that happened in some of these was that a lot of the tie-ins, or at least a few of the tie-ins, started to actually link back to the core series, which honestly should be the standard when you're doing an event tie-in. There's something that doesn't entirely work, and we'll get actually a prime example of in this video. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. So we'll kick things off by going over what the events of Devil's Reign number 5. So bear in mind that in Daredevil Woman Without Fear number 3, Elektra, who currently is operating as Daredevil, learned that apparently Matt Murdock had been murdered, and the prime suspect was Mayor Fisk. So now where issue 4 ended, using his cane, which now has a is linked to his to the whole thing, the cell that he's got the Purple Man in. Kingpin basically managed to, Mayor Fisk managed to retrieve some memories from her for his wife, Mary, Typhoid Mary, and so after doing so, he had an idea. Went on the roof in the rain and made himself remember. And so he remembered that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. But also the Thunderbolts have been sent out against the Purple Man's children, though the Rhino informed the champions of this, saying that he's not a hero, but he doesn't go after kids. And our issue begins with the mayor being informed that the Thunderbolts have located the Purple Children, but the children are in a residential building. The mayor orders a breach, saying casualties be damned. So the Thunderbolts arrive, find the Purple Children. One of them manages to stop John Walker from moving, but he manages to tell them while fighting through the hypnosis of the Purple Children, that rubber boots, however, might help, as Electro electrifies the children through the wall. As the kids are being brought out, the champions and Jessica Jones show up to rescue the children and deliver a nice beatdown on the Thunderbolts. But the Thunderbolts turns out to have a new member, the Abomination. I mean, hey, if you can't get the Hulk, if you can't get name brand Hulk, you may as well get store brand, right? Even if it is Russian store brand. But so they managed to at least get the champions managed to have at least one of the kids. But elsewhere, Mike Murdock is explaining that to Butch Fisk, the Kingpin, that he's technically not real. He has a stone, some kind of magic stone, a Norn stone to be exact. It's hidden in his brother's place. And he explained he's been sitting on it like an insurance policy. There's still some power in it. It's tricky. They'll need like a manual or something. Maybe he can figure out how to use it. But Butch doesn't want to deal with magic stones. So this is the exact reason he's mad at his dad. Superhero nonsense. And but the children have been delivered and put in their own cell, pretty much guaranteeing Fisk a win in the mayoral election. But while Dr. Octopus has created psi blockers to make sure that he's immune to the influence of the Purple Man and his children, he didn't give them to his multiversal, or to his variants. And so Fisk has Doc Ock escorted out of the building. Then he frees Kilgrave. Saying, kill them, Kilgrave. Burn the city down if you have to. Kill every hero that ever dared try to stop us from achieving our true potential. Kill them all. Meanwhile, the Ben Reilly Spider-Man is working on some neural disruptors that, courtesy of M. Frost. But and Luke's campaign is flagging. They need to get rid. And he says they need to get rid of Purple Man's influence if Luke's to have a shot at becoming mayor. One of the Purple children states that what they have to do is the only way to do that is to kill Kilgrave. But Daredevil Matt Murdock tries to talk him out of it. When he gets a call from Pierce McDuffie about there being an uprising in the Myrmidon. But something's gone wrong, and the Octobots are basically being a fight between the heroes, the the Octavius variants, and the Thunderbolts. When Purple Man shows up with a legion of mind-controlled civilians. Meanwhile, Mike Murdock goes back to his brother's apartment to get his Norn Stone. Apparently, though, the place looks like it's been tossed. Sofa cushions are cut open, and it turns out the Mike's not there alone. Fisk is there, and he beats Mike to death, finishing as Kirsten walks in. And that is where the issue ends. So it wasn't Matt Murdock who was killed, it was Mike, which there's a lot of lore involved with Mike Murdock. If I remember correctly, it was kind of a Matt pretending that initially it was like an alter ego that Matt Murdock took on, and he was a jerk, and he stopped doing it because he didn't like being that jerk, or that kind of jerk at least. But yeah, apparently he's real-ish now. So yeah. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Devil's Reign Moon Knight. This was actually the example I was talking about. It doesn't entirely line up, but it doesn't lead directly into the current issue. more like it leads into the conclusion of the previous issue. So in issue 1 of Devil's Reign, Thunderbolts took down Moon Knight. So he's in the mirror. So he's in the Myrmidon. His cellmate is apparently 8-Ball. So 8-Ball is bragging to his new cellmate about who he is, and he asks to do something. What you in for? And it's like, oh, mass beef. So 8-Ball's like, well, who are you, man? Maybe we work together. And he's like, Moon Knight. Kind of going over a list of people he fought a few times. He fought Spider-Man, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Sleepwalker. Gone toe-to-toe with all of them. Suffice to say, 8-Ball is a little worried. But there are some... but 8-Ball is not too well liked. And, well, there's some of the other inmates at the Myrmidon have a small crescent moon scar on their forehead. Courtesy of Moon Knight. Basically, Moon Knight makes a point of kind of getting it known that that 8-Ball's under his protection. But 8-Ball does point out, how come you're not same with the other superhero types? But then he states that he's not a superhero; he's a wild dog. They don't like him. But he asked about Man Marco. And it's explained that Marco gets real food courtesy of the guards. He's apparently a the guards have some Thunderdome action going on downstairs, and right now Marco's the got the top spot. So Moon Knight picks a fight to get himself noticed by the guards. Gets dropped off in the shower and deals with five of the inmates. And I mean, he deals with them. It's implied he killed them, as the guard outside the showers says there were 5 of them in there, and Moon Knight simply says there are still 5 of them in there, more or less. But then he asks, he says he hears some real action going on. He wants in. Maybe even a shot at the title. So his first bout is against Boomslang. Yeah, it's easy. Moon Knight takes him down. Then we don't see who bout number 2 was, but probably bout number 3 is Mr. Fish. Yeah. Number 5, handicap round. Moon Knight versus Killer Shrike and Cactus. Bout number 6, Massacre. And he finally gets a shot at the title. And first things seem to be pretty even, and for a brief moment, Man Mountain Marco seems to actually get the upper hand. Then we get a flashback. Man Mountain Marco's ex-wife comes to the Midnight Mission to speak to Mr. Knight. Apparently, her and Man Mountain Marco had a daughter. She's 12. And she's exhibiting some of the same abilities that Marco has. She's 12 and she likes to paint. And apparently Marco's learned about her and says once he gets out, he's going to kill his ex-wife and take his daughter and make her like him. turns out that Moon Knight being arrested was all part of a plan. He takes down Marco and then gouges out Marco's eyes, saying that he will never see his wife and daughter again. And he gets thrown in solitary. And but he says to 8-Ball that he let himself get arrested, and with everyone being in here, they're gonna get out. And they don't like it, Moon Knight, but Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Iron Fist, they know that Moon Knight can. It would be better for them to have Moon Knight on their side when they break out. And that is where the issue ends. Seriously, this was probably my favorite tie-in for all of Devil's Reign. I think there may be a few more still to go, or at least one more after this week's final issue. But moving on to our next book, we've got Superior 4 number 3. Where we left off here, Supreme Octopus had defeated Otto and his variants, and had even removed Otto's arms from him. It imprisoned Otto within the Supreme Sanctorum on Earth 8968. But we find out that a drop of blood created a germ of possibility. Basically, a man thing, a Doc Ock man thing, which frees Doc Ock from his prison, and but Supreme Octopus basically, kind of goes over his past deeds with the three variants. And Otto gets freed. And manages to defeat Supreme Octopus and get the three variants to back on his side. Supreme Octopus is destroyed, and they manage to get home. And the Man-Thing Doc Ock is sent elsewhere into the multiverse to die basically. While the variants discuss what to do and try and figure out where to go from there. On the Earth that Man-Thing ended up on, well, first off, it's decided that Otto gives the Hulk one a pill which will turn the Hulk Otto human. He tells the Blaze variant that the two of them will travel to Hell to retrieve his soul and find out what really happened to Doc Ock's mind. And the Wolverine variant has suggested he stay in this world, he be a citizen of the mutant nation state Krakoa, and Otto will show him the gates. Within weeks, they'll hold untold international influence. They manage to sabotage biotech. Meanwhile, on Earth 2902, the Man-Thing Otto becomes the new Spider-Man, which is where the issue ends. This is it wasn't bad. I like some of the concepts that are being like other Ottos who have done the whole Supreme Spider-Man thing with other heroes, so that's kind of cool. Moving on to our next book, though, we've got Villains for Hire number 3. Where we left off here, a Fisk rally had gone bad as someone in the audience who apparently is related to the Purple Man, turned the crowd against Fisk and the Thunderbolts, and it also managed to turn Electro against everyone, and which resulted in her unleashing her powers and knocking people out, which of course got caught on camera. U.S. agents told to fix things. The Thunderbolts were told to fix things. Walker tries to explain that this is probably a point when Fisk needs to show his face, show himself as a leader, not just running away to the mansion, not just running back to Gracie Mansion. But Walker and Agony help save injured civilians, but the Purple Man related one, the mind controller is still there, goes after Agony, and the symbiote is able to rid itself of the influence. So then she goes after John Walker. And so Agony, having just figured out how to rid herself of the influence, decides to try to do it with Walker, and it works. Back at Thunderbolts HQ, they've been given a new mission, going after Purple Man's kids. Rhino quits the team. Children are his line, he ain't crossing it. But Fisk explains that he's got someone to replace Rhino, the Abomination. And so they turn the city upside down looking for the Purple Children, all while under the control of Kingpin. And we get to see more of the arrest itself, with everyone getting involved before the issue ending, with the Champions and Jessica Jones showing up to save the kids. And that is where the issue ends, leading right into that first fight sequence of Devil's Reign number 5. Our final Devil's Reign book of the month is Devil's Reign X-Men number 3. Where we left off, Emma Frost had been accused of murder. Turns out she was innocent at least of this particular murder, and probably fairly innocent of a lot of others. Maybe there was a hand. Maybe she may have pushed someone in a certain way, but but she went to England to prove she hadn't killed this person, and was promptly arrested by Union Jack. A power dampener is about to be put on. The issue is Emma being about to take have a power dampener put on her, but it turns out that most of the Scotland Yard officers, they're not buying the whole thing about the psi blockers or telepathy being a real thing. And so Emma manages to mind control her way out of police custody, including mind controlling a couple of police dogs and making them forget their safe words. But she escapes, lets the dogs run free, and goes to the Hellfire Club, where it turns out Isabel, the young lady who had seen Elektra operating years previously and had basically been given a nice life by Emma, is already waiting for at the London Hellfire Club. Apparently, there was a summer where Elektra trained her how to fight, and just as quickly she was gone. But Union Jack shows up, fights Isabel. Emma takes Isabel to Krakoa. It's not Isabel's style. She's a city rat. But Ben Urich is granted an interview with the girl. Fisk is, of course, relieved. Fisk and his entire administration are quite glad that Isabel is alive and seemingly well. She has to face me for some crimes. Including some bank fraud, where she may have impersonated where she may have impersonated Susan Storm. But she says, when it comes to the insurance company wanting recompense, she orders her lawyers to buy, start buying stock in the insurance company, and then they'll see how much Emma owes when she owns the company. She has one other meaning to take out of her, and she goes to Fisk, takes control of Typhoid Mary. And mainly to relay a message to Fisk. Well, a few messages. One being that she can be anyone around her at any time, and Fisk won't see her coming. And she has, if Fisk manages to wiggle free from this reign of terror he's created, he still has Emma killing him to look forward to. But the big question she'll want to know is if crossing Emma was... an answer to later is if crossing Emma was worth it, or was worth everything. And that is where the series ends. This was also quite the interesting series. I dug it. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. We'll be back tomorrow with the final Beyond report. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.